Hello.
Hello. Oh, sorry, it's Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Wiedersehen.
Say it properly.
Hey,
How are you?
it's Tuesday.
Oh,
That's how I am. I'm actually excited. We got Brad Marr.
Brad Marr, yeah.
From Wrecking Crew Touring now, and obviously a lot of the guys in Melbourne know him for Young Brad, who used to be Massive.
From Massive, yeah.
Yep. Or the dude that was in the Coles commercial. Fuck, you'll never live that one down in the credit card commercial. I can't even remember it, but that's all good.
Hello, Max. I've noticed that the first person to say hello to us every time is Max.
It's Max.
Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Max.
I would too, but I just haven't.
So I've got we got two songs from Massive that we're going to play tonight, just before and after Brad comes on. I've got Standing Room Only, which I've done a new COVID ISO clip. So I'm going to play that for him. And then Matty Paul sent through another clip. It's called Tom Tom Rock Music, and I think that's also another ISO clip as well. So
actually, I'm looking forward to that because we've got how did everyone like Saturday?
I liked it.
I liked it.
Did you enjoy it?
You know what? I actually reckon it was fun because it was a bit of a breakup of different bands that we've played between the guys from Double Vision, the Foreigner show, In Excessive. What else did we have?
I had heaps. Whole Lot of Rosie.
John Farnham.
Yep.
Yeah. So we go on.
No, I was going to say I think it's actually quite a good format. It's the way that we sort of popped up in between songs and kept.
Sorry, I'm going to face this way.
A concert slash like a hosted concert, which
that's
was
what it was.
Cool. Yeah, and I think
I think it was a lot of fun. I mean, we're going to do the same thing on Saturday. We've got a whole bunch of different bands this week. I know we are going to be playing a couple of the bands that we did play last week, but I know we've got the guys from Rock You, Rock Soul, Rock Me. Who else? Come on,
Rock Everyone.
Rock Everyone.
Well, Standing Room Only. They're going to be on there as well.
Yeah, Standing Room Only.
I got some more Acoustic Kiss coming through. There's a whole bunch of stuff there that's coming. So I still have a lot of sorting to do, but I'll get through that probably tomorrow.
So if anyone does have any requests that they want us to play from those bands, today's your chance to actually send them to us before Tyrone goes through and plugs it all together.
Yep.
Now, what else did we have happened? Oh, it's going to be the last week that we do the GoFundMe page. We're wrapped with where it was. We didn't hit our target, but we're just overwhelmed with the amount of support and everything. So that, I think, is going to be pulled down on Friday because we do have some other more, what would you call it? Call it cool stuff?
Yeah.
Coming up?
More exciting stuff coming.
More exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got, I don't know if anyone's seen, we've got like a sponsorship thing happening up the top of the page, which is basically to keep, let's be thinking, to keep me and Tyrone going over the next 6 to 8 weeks. And if basically we're looking at going now until next year, we're going to be putting up some exclusive content through this, can't you explain it? What's it called?
So it's basically like a fan subscription service.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, so and it's going to be basically content that's not just aired on the Tuesdays and Thursdays for free and stuff. So it's going to be a little bit extra, a little bit more involved, and there's going to be some different concepts happening inside there as well. So, and we're going to go with we're going to probably do some giveaways in there as well, and also some discounts on merch and things like that. So that's it's going to change up a little bit, which is good.
I heard you're getting into a mankini and playing drums.
Oh, hey, no, we didn't hit the target on the GoFundMe, so that's not happening.
Oh well, they're gonna have to set a new target for the that one that you just spoke about.
I'll do it if I can borrow Rory's wig.
Oh, imagine doing it in Rory's wig and Rory's spandex pants with Rory watching.
If I'm wearing a mankini, though, it's not going to be for my head. Oh, yuck. It started already.
Hey, it's terrible.
So
yeah,
that's
what
happening,
else? Yeah, that's happening. That was exciting. Oh, and the other thing we are looking at doing too, we are possibly going to change our days around with what we're filming at the moment. So we might bring Gary across to what we're doing today. So Thursday shows might change because Fridays we're actually looking at bringing in. We're going to call. I'm thinking we're going to call it Bebby's Bar. Bebby's Bar Night. So it's going to be original music on a Friday night. So we'll have about an hour and a half's worth of original music, stuff that's played at Musicland and stuff that's not played at Musicland, but similar format to what we had on Saturday. Yep. So tell us your thoughts about that.
Yeah, that'd be good. So originals on Friday and then covers on Saturday is what we're sort of going for.
Correct.
So we're gonna have like a weekend thing happening while we can't actually go out and watch bands live. So we'll see how we go with all that. And yeah, it's the same deal. So if you've got any bands that you want to be put on that, it doesn't have to be local. I mean, it can be anywhere in the country kind of thing. So I've seen that Glenn Phelan has sent through a couple of clips, and I will get those up shortly. There's a few things I need to chat to you about, but I'll work that out with you.
Yep. And it's all part of this original music Fridays that we're looking at putting across. So and we're going to try and get as much content as we can. And an hour's program is a lot of music. So we worked it out. I think it's about 13 to 14 tracks as an average.
Yep.
So, and we want to keep it all relevant. And even if it's acoustic band, doesn't matter. Yep. Yeah,
there's no rules on this thing. It can be anyone, just original, any kind of music. So send whatever you got through. And I mean, even if it's like just you playing from home, I'll even get some of that stuff up as well. If you want to just put a camera in front of you and play from home, do that, send it to me and we'll get that up as well. It's original. Yep. We need to showcase some original stuff. So,
but the only criteria is it is going to have to be of a good quality recording. That's our only criteria. Because it is going out there, and not unfortunately, but I think to keep up with what everyone wants to see and everyone wants to do, otherwise we're just turning into a karaoke night, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
It has to be up to the standards. So, and I know there's a lot of stuff going around. I know the guys from Bon Jovi put together some awesome clips at the moment. You guys did one just recently with your band, The Archetypes.
Yep. Did one with those guys. Yeah.
Yep. So
that was up on the Musicland page actually. So if you want to kind of see what the idea of it is, then check that out. And go to Matty Paul's page as well. He's got a lot of clips up on his page for his ISO clips as well. So if you want an idea.
Oh, there you go. Julie DeFazio said, "Open up the vault from Band Wars." That's a good idea too. So yeah, we can grab a lot of that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Actually, maybe we should contact some of those bands that were in Band Wars and see if they're still doing stuff. If they want to maybe push some more stuff with us.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm actually just waiting for
Daniel Bryson, a camera and play from home. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
If you want to set up a camera and play from home, do it. Send it to me, and we'll put it up on the Friday night original night.
Yep. Again, as long as the quality's up there. I'm just waiting on where's Brad?
Brad, Brad's watching
stuff. no X-rated stuff.
No,
we're going to try and keep it as friendly, kid friendly, because we do actually have a lot of people that do watch that are under the age of 18.
Hello, Wayne.
Some people are have got a mental capacity of under the age of 3. Me being one of them.
Yeah, me too. So,
here you go, Brad.
Yeah,
good.
Yep.
Oh, there you are. Cool. Sorry, I just noticed you.
All right. Hello, Dominic.
He's just popped up during the chat.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll get on one of their clips first, and then we'll bring in Brad. So he's in Germany at the moment. He's got his own. What's he got?
I think he's going to just jump straight in.
Oh, is he?
No, more put in the waiting room.
Put him in the waiting room. Yeah,
that's all right. I'll put him into the waiting room.
So he's got his own touring company or business, like a booking agency kind of thing. Yep. And he's got a lot of insight because his full-time job is music over there now. So he's going to give us a real good sort of inside view of what's going on over there in Germany, which is interesting.
Yep.
So
and
I'll
through the whole of Europe.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris Smith said no explicit lyrics. You can do whatever explicit lyrics you want, Chris, because these days now, I reckon kids have heard more than.
Yeah,
I reckon kids hear more than what we actually hear. To be honest with you, now you can ask Dominic Buffalino. That's there. He's a Year 12 teacher. He hears more than what anyone hears. I reckon.
They probably say more stuff than we do, anyway.
Who, the teachers?
No, the kids. All right. So this is the first clip by Massive. It's called One by One.
Awesome.
Woohoo! All right.
That was 1-1. Hello, Brad.
Hello, Brad.
Hey, how are we?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah,
We were actually
just hanging out.
Me and Brad were actually just talking about Misty Fizz.
My first band.
His first band, Misty Fizz. Then this is going back prior to Band Wars. This is early days.
Yeah, we were Musicland regulars back then. We used to think that was home. It's good.
I don't even think you were 18.
I would have been just 18. Yeah, we started when I was 17, but we didn't start playing until we were 18. So I would have been 18, but just half our fans weren't. So
no, that was with Chris the Malco, Krista.
Krista, it was in the band. Chris Malco played with us a couple of times. Gary actually played with us a couple of times, but
Gary,
yeah, Krista was on drums. So we all went to school together. So
that's awesome. So that clip we just played was that your first release?
That was Massive's first single. You go through a bunch of crap bands before you find a good band. And they vary on levels of how good they are, and then Massive was the one we stuck with in the end. So it was the first single from Massive off our first album, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've obviously had a few lineup changes since then, because we're just saying Jared Medwin, who's one of my favourite Aussie drummers, funnily enough, who's been around the traps for years, and I know he's in about 400 bands now, but you've had a few lineup changes, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when bands push so hard for so long, people fall off, people jump on, it just, it's the way it is, really. Jared's doing very fine with all the bands he's in now, so, and Massive these days is probably the strongest we've ever been. Just victims of circumstance. People come in and it just clicks. Our last album has been just so easy to play, and we wrote it quick. We recorded it quick. We actually recorded it with Chris DeMalco. So to go back full circle there. But it's just the band now is just firing on all cylinders. So we don't have any, we get into a band van and there's no dramas. We get into a gig and it's just, hard work and happy, fun times with beers afterwards. It's good fun.
Yeah, well, that's half the battle too. It's got to be fun and enjoyable.
Oh yeah, especially like if you're touring, if you're in a van, if you're playing once a week or you're rehearsing once a week, it's not too bad. But if you're in a van with guys, for 3 months at a time, and you're staying in hotels and you're eating crap food and you're always tired, if you're not happy, if you're not having fun, then it goes downhill very quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, obviously, there's a massive difference between what you guys, because you obviously lived in Melbourne and then you picked up everything and ended up over in Europe. And obviously, congratulations on your child.
Yeah. A little German family now. You're crazy.
Yes. I mean, like you talk a lot online about all the differences between the Aussie scene and obviously the European scene. Can you tell us a little bit about that, what the differences are?
Look, the style of music, the genre of music is similar. There's world-class quality bands in both sides of the planet. The difference over here is there's the middle rungs on the ladder. In Australia, you can get to this level, and then you sit there and you can't get to the top levels because there's no support from local festivals, not local festivals, but the big festivals. There's the radio. There's no support net that takes good local bands and takes them up to the next level. I mean, there's always exceptions, but over here, in comparison to over here, if you're a good band and you can pull 100 people a night, you will get signed to a major label after a while, and they will get you on radio. And there's bands that were supporting us 2 years ago that are now playing to 1,000 people every night and headlining festivals. And a main stage at Download Festival this year, a mate's band, Those Damn Crows, they supported us in front of 100 people 2 years ago, and now they're main stage at Download Festival in just that short amount of time. And that doesn't happen in Australia. You can't go from 100 people to 1,000 people anymore, especially in rock and roll music.
Would you say that's because there's like more sort of talent scouts out there at gigs? Is that sort of where it comes from?
No, there's just talent scouts at gigs, and there's not in Australia. There's no label that champions new rock in Australia at the moment. No label that has the ability to take you from one level to the next. And in Europe and the UK especially, there's a huge rock scene in the UK. dozens. Nuclear Blast signs new bands. Earache Records signs new bands, and they bring them from one level and put them on radio, and they put them in festivals. They give them billboards, and they put them on the back of buses, and that doesn't happen in Australia at all. So that's the difference.
Do you think it's a population difference as well? Because obviously in Europe, you've got X amount of million people jammed into one small area the size of Geelong, like you had said, versus Australia, that's such a large, wide country that a lot of people don't go to those sort of gigs now. What's your take on it?
Yeah, look, that's a bit of both, really. You can say it's the population thing, but the fact that there's no support from the upper levels for new rock means that no one has the opportunity to learn about new music in the rock genres. Triple J has a lot of indie and pop music, and I've got friends like G Flip who's absolutely smashing it on Triple J, but it's not rock. She worked hard in a band called Emperor for years and got nowhere, and then makes a pop record and it explodes. So in Australia, there's no rock part that can get you from one level to the next. I think the population's a moot point, because if you have 1 million fans, you have 1 million fans. It doesn't matter how many other people don't like you.
Yeah, right. Do you think that's different online though? Like, I mean, it's because online is obviously worldwide. So do you think you've got an advantage to like being in another country compared to the online market kind of thing?
Yeah, look, I mean, online is a thing now. Bands can make a following on Spotify and streaming sites, and see, we've got 5,000 fans in Germany or 10,000 fans in Sweden, and you can see the cities they're in, and you can go and play your tour based on, where your fans are. So that the whole online thing should more be a tool for where your fans are. You have the ability to make fans in every country now, and you should be using online to harness where your fans are and plan your tours and plan your career. Really, you don't have to stay in Melbourne or Sydney or anywhere in Australia. You can be an international band, and be somebody when you land for the first time.
And now that's something that you're obviously doing at the moment. Obviously with Wrecking Crew, any bands that are from Australia that do want to take up the possibility to go over to Europe can obviously contact yourself and your company, and basically realise, we'll call it that dream, and follow the fact that this is where they're getting streamed from. Yeah,
look, I mean, we get a lot of emails for bands and we want to do this, and it's more of we take on less than, we probably could take on more than what we do, but we take on less because we'd rather do it right. If a band isn't ready, if a band doesn't have something to sell, or doesn't have the money to invest in it, you still have to invest time and effort and money to make something out of it. You can't just rock up and play, because no one knows who you are if you do that. So, we more encourage people and coach people on what they need to do before they make that step to jump over the other side of the world. But yeah, when bands are ready, like we brought a Blaze over last year, a good Melbourne band. They played Hard Rock Hell Festival on the main stage, and they played, another festival up in Scotland just before Skid Row or something like that, I think they were. We did it right. We got the PR going, and we got them in newspapers and magazines before they arrived, so people had a chance to see them, and you could see on their social medias, their social medias went up by 1,000 fans within just before the tour. So that sort of stuff needs to be done for the tour to work, and bands have to realise that they have to invest in that, and they have to have the product. If they don't have an album, if they're just going to rock up and play gigs, then what's your plans for keeping those fans interested if you haven't got something for them to take home? So
yeah, exactly.
I remember in the early day of you guys talking about media and trying to, obviously, promotion and everything. You guys had a billboard. We'd Massive have that billboard put up?
About 2 or 3 kilometres from Heathrow Airport.
That's right.
Just on the main highway and main motorway in the UK. Wow, we had a couple of smaller ones as well, but yeah, as you drive on the M4 straight out, right through. There's, traffic jams on that road every day, and there's 40-foot billboard up there for months. It was up there for ages.
Well, that was going to tie into the point I was going to make about image, because we had Vince on I think it was last week, and he said image is very important as well as good music. And I think if you have a product for people to take home, for example, they'll remember that image, and you've got to give them that hook that they'll see that somewhere and go, oh, that's massive, or that's whoever. So I think that's quite important.
You really have to. I mean, image is more appearance, but if you don't want to use a business term, it's your brand. Your band isn't four guys that rehearse. When you go to that level, it's a brand. Everything from your T-shirts to your CDs to your promotion, whether you're going to advertise in magazines or advertise on Facebook, everything has to be a brand. So when they see it, they know it's you, and they remember that awesome gig they went to 6 months ago because they seen your big logo on the back of your banner, and now they're seeing it on their Facebook feed. It's not rock and roll. It's not cool to talk about the brand stuff when you're a musician. But if you're going to do it for forever, you kind of need to know that stuff, and you need to make sure that that's all in order.
Well, I think it's
basic. I was going to say essentially it's basic business.
It is. Well, music's a business, so absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's very important to educate a lot of younger bands coming up into that too, because that's how it has to be if they're going to want to get anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I was lucky when I went to uni. I did music technology at uni, but there was also a big part of that was music business. And I didn't care about music business back then at all. But just I was lucky that I did it, and I was lucky that I paid attention because, massive. When we got signed at the start, we didn't know what we were doing. If we're honest, we were musicians. We had to learn on the road. So when things went wrong, our second album didn't do as well as our first album. And within the space of a month, we were looking at getting our label was going to drop us. Our management was dropping us. Our agency was dropping us. So, in 2016, we could have just given up and done something else, but we had to use the knowledge that we had of business sense to rebuild it and, come back out with a new record and book your own tours and find your feet without, spending money on an agent and figuring out how to do it yourself is so important for bands as well. So, yeah, I was lucky that I had that in uni and learnt how to do that. And then when push came to shove, it was just a matter of putting all that into place and keeping the band going. And now we're probably more popular than we were when we were on a big label and we were on a big agency and stuff like that. So, and we've done it ourselves. So.
So what's your best advice to actually approach an agent?
An agent? Look, lots of bands, I know this because lots of bands contact me with the same thing. And lots of bands contact an agent and say, look, can you help us? An agent can't help you. You can help the agent. You're pitching to the agent. You're giving them work. So, lots of bands think that an agent is their saving grace. You're going to them and you're pitching them how good you are and how many people you can bring. So bands, if you're going to contact an agent, for starters, I would say get a manager because connections are always huge in the music industry. And, if management has a connection to an agency, then it's just a lot easier. But if you're going to do it yourself, you need to, go to them with, this is where we've played. We can bring 100 people in Melbourne, 100 people in Sydney. We've been to Brisbane 10 times and that's what we're worth. And we need someone to work with us to make it bigger. And I guarantee you get an email a return email a lot more when you tell them how much you're worth than if you email them asking them how much they can help you. So, yeah.
Actually, I like that. That's something that I don't hear very often. So, yeah, that's awesome. Now, what are you guys doing with Wrecking Crew? Obviously, you're putting a festival together.
I've already got a festival over here called Rock and Revel, which happens in September. Not this year, obviously. We had to move the whole festival to next year. But I'm just about to start. I've just started a new festival with some investors, and it's going to be so much bigger than anything we've ever done. We've got a big open field near an airport, and it can hold up to 10,000 people, and we're going to have a couple of big stages, and we've got a big budget for bands, and it's we're jumping into the deep end because we've all done this before, but the scale is so much bigger. The method is still the same. You still contact the agents, you still come up with the same contracts and stuff like that, but so much more is at risk. You're putting big money into a festival in the middle of a pandemic too, which is insanity. But we've got the opportunity, we've got the land, and we've got the contract for the space. So we want to make it work, and we're going to give as many opportunities to good local bands to be on the same stage as the big heavyweight bands that bring the 10,000 people. So
yeah, I think that's the only way it's going to push forward too with new music. They have to start mingling together, not all just the older good bands. They need to bring in some of the newer bands as well and sort of slowly bring them in.
Yeah, absolutely. Over here, it's so common over here for big festivals to have a rising stage, where the bands are getting paid pittance, but that's not the point. We played Rambling Man Fair a few years ago, and we were on, half an hour before ZZ Top. We were on this stage and they were on that stage, but we were playing to thousands of people just before ZZ Top, and you don't get that opportunity in Australia. But that rising stage every year has 20 or 30 bands that are just good, hard-working, independent bands. Every year they get opportunities to play with bands of that size. And, if Australia, that doesn't cost anything for festivals to do that, it pays itself off. You're paying the bands $100 or whatever to do it. Every band in the world would take that. Every local band in the world would take that deal.
Well, I'll look at what they did with Soundwave. Or was it Sound? I don't know. I don't go to fest, but was it Soundwave here, where it was basically that? Yeah, Chili Peppers on one stage, and then, but they never had really any upcoming bands. All the upcoming bands that they had were all the rubbish that was on Triple J, but it was nothing heavy. It was nothing like proper Aussie rock, we'll call it.
It's a shame, man. I don't know why, because you go to a Jimmy Barnes concert, Cold Chisel concert, or Screaming Jets concert, or anyone, Rose Tattoo, and they still pull. They still pull full crowds. They fill out rooms. So people still like rock music. Okay, the audience is older, but they still go to gigs. It's not like those bands have quit. So rock's dead. Rock is alive. It's just 55 years old now.
But it's also because that's what like the current radio stations and stuff shove down your throat. That's what they make you listen to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's a hard
thing.
Yeah, that is starting to change though with the inception now of digital radio over here. You'd now have a lot more choice to what you want to listen to, and it's the same thing with cars now. You plug your phone into a car, and then you've got access to your iTunes Music, Spotify. What is it? Because Triple M now run Triple M 90s, hard rock, ultra hard rock, and all sorts of other crap. And I mean, it's listening to that is 10 times better than listening to, sorry for anyone that likes it, but listening to shit that's on Fox FM and Nova and all the other poppy shit that they're running down your throats.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing that's in cars and whatever. And I always tell people about Spotify. Lots of musicians go, nah, they're not paying enough. If you balance out the amount of exposure you get, if you get on a playlist on Spotify and you get 100,000 views or listens, and you get played on radio once and 100,000 people listen to you, you actually make the same amount of money in royalties. It's not if you think about it as radio instead of CD sales, it's actually perfectly fine how much money people make from Spotify. And these days, how Spotify is in cars and playlists are huge. People at pubs put playlists on. People at parties put playlists on. Spotify playlists is radio these days. So bands should be trying to get on playlists and on those digital stations where they don't have the bureaucracy of having to worry about shareholders and all that crap. That's where bands should be looking to get onto now in Australia and getting those fans, people that are ahead with technology for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree with that.
You've got a rock and roll cookbook.
Yeah.
So what's that all about?
Well, we were meant to record our fourth album in April, and here we are in 2020. We were meant to film a live DVD at Max Watts in Melbourne. Didn't do that. So our old album's nearly 2 years old now. We need to get a new record out, and we can't do that because we're all spread out, and we just don't have the money from what we were meant to be doing. We're meant to tour 30, 40 dates in May and June. So, we had to improvise and lots of bands are just going to take the year off, and we don't want to be that band. We want to be in everyone's mind all the time. So we can all cook. We all learnt that on tour. Every time we go to an Airbnb, we all fight for the kitchen and try and show off our cooking skills. But we can all cook, and we decided to put a book together that's not just a cookbook, because you can get a cookbook from anywhere. It's a rock and roll cookbook. So every recipe has an album. Most of the albums are new bands, local bands that are, that we think are world class. We're not giving anyone, a spot. They have to be a good album, has to be an album. And a QR code on the side where you can literally scan the book and the music plays through Spotify on your phone while you cook. So
what a great idea.
What a fantastic idea.
Yeah, if we can give some people, give people a brand new recipe to cook, to impress their husbands and wives, and give them some new music to listen to, then, we're doing our part for rock and roll and whatever else we can do.
Yeah, for sure. And how is that going to be released? Is that like a thing you can buy in the shops, or what's?
Look, we're doing it ourselves because we're not book writers. We're learning as we go. We're learning all of this as we go. So we're doing it ourselves. It's available for pre-order already. It comes out right before Christmas. Comes out the first week of December, so it'll be delivered probably the second week of December. So on our website, massiveoz.com, you can just go there, pick your country, pre-order it now. If you pre-order it, there's free postage and all that. So, we've already got a whole bunch of pre-orders. We're happy with how it's going. We've got to, push it. We're gonna do a couple of live video streams of us cooking to show that the recipes are real. But
Dale McKenzie says, I might have to invest, Brad. All I can cook is bangers and mash.
No, look, there's a couple of sausage recipes in there, mate. You'll be fine. There's there's a lot of random stuff that we try to push ourselves with. I'm in Germany, so there's all these German recipes that you can't even pronounce, but they're really nice. So spread out the cuisines and see what you can see.
Now, I actually follow you guys on social media, and I've seen some of the recipes and everything that you guys have got up there. I'm actually just popping the massiveoz.com website up across our socials at the moment. So, guys, please make sure you log on to that and make sure you follow the guys through Facebook, YouTube, Spotify especially, obviously, and everything else. So that's up there now for the cookbook. So, and you know what? Yeah, awesome. I reckon Muso's cookbooks would have to probably be the most creative thing ever, because sometimes I know for a fact that if anyone ever goes away with a bunch of guys and you've got basically a tin of baked beans, a tin of tomatoes and a bunch of spinach, and that's your 4-course meal that you're going to have for the rest of the evening. So bugger it, make it. We try to outdo ourselves every time there's a kitchen. When you're eating out of petrol stations, 4 or 5 nights a week, and then you get an Airbnb with a big kitchen, mate, we're all racing to the supermarket to see some, get some local groceries in Spain or wherever we are, and just get something that we've never tried before, and just test ourselves. So.
Yeah, definitely. We might have to do a cocktail book with the same concept.
They did start off normal, end up in freaking gibberish.
At least you get some good music.
Actually, here you go.
Oh, mate.
I'm just putting up some links now for all of Brad's stuff, including the Wrecking Crew touring as well. If any bands and anything want to learn a little bit more about the possibility of going over to Europe and being able to pick Brad's brain and obviously hopefully do a little bit of stuff with you in regards to that.
So how do you actually make it easier for a band to get over there? Like, so you organise like equipment and all that kind of stuff as well, and like you slot them into pubs so they can just basically go there, they're ready to go. don't have to worry about
much.
Look,
basically we pick the bands that we think are ready. Everyone, 100 bands will apply, and we'll look at the bands, and if they're ready to do it, then we'll work with them. And we won't work to a time frame. Like if we say, yes, we're going to try and get you over to Europe, instead of saying we're going to get you there in December or February or whatever, we go, we're going to try and get you on something that's worthwhile. We're going to get you on a big festival or a big support, and then work around that. So sometime in the next year or 2 years, you're going to have a big festival to jump on, and then we're going to build you around that, get you some big supports around that, or some club gigs, whatever we can get you that's worthwhile, and then make sure there's the right PR, the right promotion, make sure there's an album out in time, and you can get the album available over here through either an online merchandise sales or in stores. You can do that as well over here pretty easily. So
awesome.
Yeah, we make sure that the band is ready, and then we make sure that they're not just coming here to play local pubs. We're making sure they've got that big opportunity to play in front of a few thousand people.
Definitely. Adam Taylor says, any plans or timing to record that 4th album?
Look, it's all demoed. We will, we instead of going to a studio and pre-productioning this time, we demoed through Dropbox, really. I'm sitting at my little home studio now and just, plug in my guitar and do the guitars to a click, and then send them off to Newcastle, New South Wales for Andrew, the drummer, to put down his parts. And then it's just, we've done it that way for the pre-production, but we're not going to do that for the album. We need to get to a studio. We're still old school in that sense. We want to spend, 3 weeks or 4 weeks in a studio and get that vibe of us being together. So when we can do that is when we'll be getting that 4th album done.
Yeah, definitely. And that's different as well, going into a studio for like inspiration and stuff and motivation and all that. And you definitely get a better product out of it than just sitting at home doing it.
Oh, look, it's just, for our style of music, like, when we go in the studio, it's for the first 3 albums, you go in and you pick your tempo, and then we speed it up 2 or 3 beats because we want to make it feel like we're playing live. And you can't really do that from home. You don't, unless you're absolutely vibing and sitting there on the Red Bulls, you're not getting the same sort of vibe as being in a studio with your mates making rock and roll and turning up loud. So we need that to get that extra 1% out of our music. So
definitely. All right, I think that's about it. We've got one more song we can play. It's Bullet. So do you want to introduce Bullet for us?
Yeah, Bullet was the last single of our 3rd album that we released last year, 2 years ago, 10 years ago if we're in pandemic times, 100 years ago. It's just, it's one of our favourite songs to play live because it's a groover, and I'm sure everyone who hasn't heard it will hopefully like it, and maybe we'll see you at a pub soon. Maybe we'll see you at Musicland soon when we can get back on the road.
Awesome.
Because you guys were meant to be playing now, September, weren't you? Or October?
We were meant to finish a couple of weeks ago, but I mean, we're meant to be back on the road in February. We're touring with the UK Choir Boys, not the Choir Boys from Australia, but the band called the Choir Boys in the UK, which are probably equal size in band and similar sound as well.
Yep.
And then we're back in Europe in August, September. So
definitely
next year.
Guys, please make sure you jump across all their socials. Obviously, Wrecking Crew Touring, massive the band, and please pre-purchase their cookbook. That's going to be pretty cool.
Yes, please do.
Definitely, that'd be great.
Cheers, guys.
Cool. All right, thanks, Brad. This is Bullet, massive.
Rock and roll.
smell of beer soaked in these jeans. It's all so bittersweet. The wheels keep on turning. The engine has run dry. Here I am, left out in the night. Cockfighting bullet. And you're rid of me. Now you're left with nothing. Nothing's a friend. Of loyalty and trust, it's headed for destruction, forever in the past. Chew you up, spit you out, what it seems to be. Here I am, falling to my knees. Can't follow that bullet, and you're out of it.
Well, so we're having a bit of a laugh behind the scenes there. So that was Bullet by Massive.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Oh shit!
That was actually a really good interview with Brad. I really enjoyed that. It was so insightful.
It is. It's actually nice. Nice actually interviewing people who can speak English, not like me. Thank you for Abigail Comber for telling me that I don't do good English. No, I don't. We all know that. No. Mate, you know what though? It's actually interesting and getting an insight into what the industry is overseas compared to away from our little island down here in Australia. And we do have really brilliant musicians, hence Brad and all the guys from Massive.
Yeah.
But what the difference is of festivals and all this sort of stuff that is happening over in Europe compared to what we do down here. What's
doing here. And the point about like people over there actually looking for the music and pulling these guys up, whereas we don't have that here. I just sort of think to myself, well, why can't we sort of take a leaf out of their book and introduce that here and then start pulling up these bands? But it just doesn't seem to be a thing.
Well, maybe that's what we need to start doing. That's what we're going to start doing on Friday nights. We're going to start playing original music.
Yep.
Aussie rock music on a Friday night. And that's why we need everyone to send their clips. Because it is something that's lacking in Australia. I mean, I'll look at the stuff even you guys are doing and put together your original music. You've got guys from Massive. You've got
There's heaps of bands around here.
There's heaps of bands.
So many. And they're like, as good, if not better, as a lot of the other bands overseas, but they just don't get the exposure to get the recognition, and it just needs to happen.
And it's sad, and it is because of that. It's because of the fact that you've got a lack of not management, but it is. It's like what Brad said. He goes, a lot of these bands think it's uncool to do your own business and to promote yourselves and to do all of this. That's the whole point of it. That's what the world is now. These labels, like what Vince said, aren't going to walk up to you and say, guys, you're the next big thing. You're going to make it. Because unfortunately, these guys will tell you a hard reality of what they'll tell you what the honest point is with your band. And a lot of the time, whether you take it on and say, well, that's great constructive criticism. I know now that I can do better. Instead, these guys will look at it and go, oh, what the hell do these guys know? Arsehole doesn't like my music, and I think it's the best in the world. And it's that problem as well. So,
yeah, well, definitely. Well, maybe we should start doing something about this thing, because it just needs to happen, I think.
Yep. It's
a shame it doesn't happen here because there's such good talent.
Yeah. See, here you go. Glenn Phelan goes, advertising in Australia sucks. Even the pubs don't do it. You know what, though, Glenn? The pubs and venues, even us to a certain extent, we've got, I think we're sitting at the moment at 25 or 20, we've got 20,000 people on our Facebook socials at the moment. We want to grow that, so make sure you like our page.
Please, yeah, share and subscribe.
So we've got 20,000 people on that. Then we've got our mailing list and all that. And then we put a couple of posters up in the venue. That's what we can do as a pub or as a venue. To advertise now through marketing, through paper trails, through your Beat magazine and all that. The only people that read Beat magazine are other musos. You're not trying to attract other musos, you're trying to attract punters. But the whole thing is, and what Brad is doing with these festivals and bands playing on an opposite stage to say like a ZZ Top, like they did, is it puts your band in front of 2,500 live people that you've never ever heard before. And out of that 2,500 people, you might pick up an extra 20 or 30 people that go, fuck, I love these guys. I'm going to follow them around to the ends of the earth. And that's another 20 or 30 people you're going to get to a gig that you'd usually only get 80 people.
And that'll just keep happening too. Those 20 or 30 people will share it again to another 20 or 30, and that's how it sort of grows. But unless you, like what Brad was saying, unless you've got something to give to the people, then it's not going to happen. So you've got to sort of have your own product and endorse that and back yourself for it to go anywhere.
Yep.
So I think that's quite important.
And I mean, I look at even what we do with the Geelong band. Come on, blonde hair. So, Mum, if you're watching, the Geelong band, original heavy rock music, like Massive because they're a hard rock band, not a metal band.
No idea what you're talking about.
Oh, fuck. Who's the band that played down from Geelong that stood up for John Stevens? Dangerous Curves.
Oh, yeah.
They're another brilliant hard rock band. Thank you, Mum. I'll beat you. They're another brilliant rock band. That same thing. We try to give them the best opportunity possible to be able to play with these other bigger artists. I mean, we did the same thing with you guys, Tyrone. Who did you guys back?
Braithwaite. Daryl Braithwaite.
Daryl Braithwaite.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that, but a lot of these pubs and a lot of these other venues don't know how to do that anymore. They don't give these younger bands or these bands that don't have a following a chance anymore.
Well, I mean, that point exactly, like back when I was playing with those boys, that opportunity that we got was so much more beneficial and valuable to us than having something materialistic, like, say, getting a guitar or getting a set of sticks or whatever. For us, that was so much more beneficial, and it was really appreciated.
So you won that through Band Wars, didn't you?
No, we actually came second.
You came second, but that was one of the things. No, but you guys suited it.
Yeah,
to play with Braithwaite before, and
that's what I mean. Like we actually appreciated that instead of getting like a prize, like a guitar or something like that. So.
Yeah, see, even here, Jordan Adam goes, we give bands a lot of opportunity with support slots, but the problem is the bands themselves sometimes don't help themselves, because a lot of these bands will look at that opportunity to say, well, I'm backing John Stevens, but mate, I'm not doing it because you're not paying me $2,500 in order to get up and play. Well, that's not the point of it, because if you didn't have that opportunity, you wouldn't be playing in front of a packed house of 500 people that are there just purely listening to you, because there's nothing else that they're going to do. And it's a bit of it is a funny one, but I mean, like I said, I'll take my hat off to Brad, because that's something that he is doing, and he helps people across Australia understand that and how, in order to break it overseas, because it seems to be the only place that you can do it at the moment. But let's change that up and start getting as much Aussie music through as possible.
Dale McKenzie says, is it the same sort of thing with solo artists?
Solo artists are one of those things that you've got to realise that if you've got a band like Daryl Braithwaite or Rose Tattoo, John Stevens or something like that, as to put up an acoustic artist or a solo artist as a warm-up act in front of a band, in front of a crowd like that, with a band like that, people get bored very, very quickly, unfortunately, because they're there to party. They're not there to listen to la, la, la. I don't know. You know what I mean?
But I mean, there are some like solo artists out there that will captivate a crowd and do really well with their stuff.
Oh,
like it's not,
definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
So, and I think they definitely deserve the same as any other band. Like there's
yep.
So
you go, Glenn Phelan goes, solo do seem to have a little more push behind them. You know what it is though, Glenn? A lot of venues will pay $100 or $200. Sorry. A lot of guys who play in bands are now choosing to go out and play solo because they can make more money out of it. And that's what it comes down to. They can make $200 off a gig instead of making $200 and having to divide that by 4.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So it is cheaper, but they do have their own place. They do have their own place in the right setting. You wouldn't put a hard rock band in, say, a restaurant setting of 500 people. I mean, imagine going. I'd love to see that. I reckon that'd be freaking awesome. Imagine going to see Massive in a sit-down restaurant.
Yeah, I'd go.
With Brad jumping across tables and shit like that because he's done stuff like that. But versus putting an acoustic artist or a solo artist of some sort down the other end. It's just got to be appropriate for what gig's happening at that stage.
Yeah. All right, just to break it up a bit, I've got Standing Room Only. They've got a clip called Down in the Dirt. So I promised I'd play that. Actually, we might go a little bit longer tonight because I've got 2 clips to play there. So, and I promised I would. So this is Standing Room Only, Down in the Dirt.
From home, where the storms are intense and the time is unknown. The heat fills your lungs and the dust fills your eyes. The dirt smacks your face, swarming around like flies. Down in the dirt, losing your mind. Fall to your knees, the world sends you blind. I dare you to stay close to your mind. When thoughts go wild, you might go blind. The dreams are so vivid, the sweat soaks up your bed. let out a scream, but it stays inside your head. Left for dead, down in the dirt, losing your mind. Fall to your knees, the world sends you blind. Smoke rises up, blocks out the sky. When you're down in the dirt, racing time. When your lovely heart sinks like a stone, leave me when I say you're the one. Tell you to stray far, far from home. When love is intense, like a brand new start. Down in the dirt, losing your mind. Fall to your knees, the world sends you blind. Smoke rises up, blocks out the sky. When you're down in the dirt, racing time. Down in the dirt, down in the dirt, take it down in the dirt, down in the dirt, down in the dirt, down in the dirt, down in the dirt.
All right, that was Down in the Dirt, standing room only.
Are we there yet? 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 Are we there yet?
I'd get back as fast as you can.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so Deb Harmon says music is the greatest healer of all, and I agree with that totally.
It is.
And from a listening and playing point of view.
And here you go. Kerry Blakemore said, I would and have seen Brad in small venues, and it was awesome. Yes, it was. I've seen him climb up a truss over the top of a stage and then back down the other side again, and I thought he was going to kill himself, but that was freaking awesome.
Actually, this brings me to a point. You sent me a photo last week, and I think you said it was the Beatles playing to Barely Anyone.
Oh, yeah. Put that up.
Yeah, I'll just get that up in a sec. So this is that photo you sent?
Yep. That's it there. So
that's how they started off.
Yeah, so the Beatles played to 13 people. That's the Beatles in the back playing to 13 punters.
Yeah, which is incredible. Like, I mean, it just goes to show that it doesn't matter who you are, you can actually get somewhere if you back yourself and push, you know?
Well, there you go. My dad wrote, music is the healthiest addiction. It is, because you usually don't have enough money to buy any crack or drugs or alcohol or anything like that anyway if you're a muso, because you've spent it all on gear. Now, here you go. George Kateas wrote, guys, back in the original bands in the 90s, I did a lot of support gigs with Australian acts for very little money. Before social media, all of our money went to ads in all the gig guys, our sound, our lights. We used to send out newsletters and so forth. Tough gig and hard work. It was back then. It was completely different to what it is now. These days now, bands have got it so much easier than what.
Well, it's accessibility. It makes it easier. I mean, it takes you 5 minutes to write a post and stick it on Facebook. Whereas if you're going to newsletters, it takes weeks in publishing and all that kind of stuff.
But that's where the difference is. Bands now, sorry to say, but it's like everything. People are lazy, and that's what Vince last week was saying. He goes, bands. He's got some brilliant bands on their books, but they're all freaking lazy. None of them do their social media. None of them do this. And then they all bitch and moan to him that why aren't they getting gigs and why aren't people following them? And it's because of that fact.
Yeah, and you know what I think is healthy too within a band is when everybody sort of takes a role and everyone does the same amount of pushing with their advertising and stuff. When it falls down to one person doing it all, it just makes things a lot harder, and it brings in that sort of tension as well.
It does.
So I definitely think it's you know, if you're going to be in a band, it's definitely a group effort where you all put in the same amount of effort for the same goal.
Correct. Now, just as a thing as well, you're going to have to play Matty Pool's clip because otherwise my mum's going to get her finger out, mate. So we're going to put that on before we finish. We've got a couple of other little things that we're going to talk about straight after this clip.
Yep.
Before we finish off, and we're going to ask your guys' opinion on a couple of things as well.
Cool. All right, so this is called Tom Tom Rock Music, and the song is called Lullaby. It's an ISO clip. Yeah, you done?
Actually, I enjoyed that. That was cool.
That was Lullaby by Tom Tom Rock Music, I think it's called. It's that's for Matty Paul.
Yeah, oh, really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna suggest, three things. Now, guys, if you can, please make sure you like, subscribe, and do everything that you need to do to our page. Saturday. There's a fly. Thursday night we've got back with Gary again for songs we love to learn to hate. I don't know what we're doing on Thursday, so it's going to be one of those really, really fun random nights again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've got a bit of news possibly for Gary. I'm just waiting on confirmation for it because actually, if Gary's listening, I've got some really cool news, hopefully. What else we got?
I'm listening to you. You said you had a few things you wanted to announce.
Yeah, no, it was that.
And a couple of questions.
Yeah, so it was that. Oh, questions. We want your feedback for Saturday night, and we want to know how you guys reckon a Friday night originals music would go. We got a few people who were listening earlier that replied to us, but we'd love to know more and what sort of music you'd like to hear. Do we want to hear the whole plethora of genre of music, or do we just want to hear a couple of different types of music? I personally would love to hear the whole genre of music from folk, what do you call it? Folk hippie smoking, past the blunt around music to rap.
Yeah, the whole bit, pop and everything.
Whole bit. Yep.
As long as it's original. And I would actually love to see people getting creative with it too. Like it's actually sitting in their lounge room and singing one of their own songs. I saw Dale McKenzie. He actually did one a while ago, so I would suggest if he could jump on it, that'd be good.
Do you reckon it would be bad if you were playing your own original song and watching your own stream online while singing your own song? Do you understand what I meant? That wasn't very good English, was it?
English good tonight. Very
it's
English.
Gone. Oh, Wayne, where did you go, Wayne? Have a good night, guys. Stay safe. Oh, yeah, shit, we're past the curfew by about an hour, Wayne. We shouldn't have been doing this. Shouldn't be out.
Demon Head. Actually, I've got some Demon Head I can play for you on. That's on Saturday night.
Are we playing Demon Head on Saturday?
Yeah, I'll put them in the mashup.
Put them in the mashup, and I reckon Demon Head definitely have to be one of those bands that we have on a Friday night because they were one of the. I really enjoyed that playing them live, listening to them live.
Yep. But yeah, let's get as much help as we can. All the help that you guys could, give to us is appreciated. And it goes beyond just us two as well. I mean, we can search and find a lot of music, but it's the more people that are onto this thing, the wider it goes. So,
and what we'd love is obviously a lot of guys have got their own music that they want to send us. We'd love you to send us your own music plus music that you like to listen to. That's the whole thing. Not just your own music. We'd love you to, because we will play it definitely, but obviously if you overload us with it, it becomes a bit much, let's be honest. But we'd love you to send us your own music plus other music of other people that you guys love to listen to. And then that sort of helps to spread the love around to everyone else. We'll tag as many people as we can because obviously we're going to play it. And then if that's the case and we do get good enough bands in or good enough people, we would love to bring you guys in for an interview on a Thursday or a Friday to talk to you about your music and everything.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
That. Yep.
It's all about sharing love around.
Yep, that's it.
That's about it, I think. We've gone over time by about 15 minutes.
Oh, I'm going to get in trouble now. Do I get paid more? I'm going overtime? Do I get like time and a half?
That'd be nice, actually. Kathy says a metal night and a country night. Oh, I think you should do a rock night, a metal night, and a country night.
Rock night, a metal night, and a country night. I reckon that's a good idea.
I actually think
a brilliant idea.
But I actually think you mix all that up into one show because it'll appeal to a lot more people.
Do you reckon it'd turn into too much of a rage?
Maybe.
Eh?
Maybe.
Or do you reckon we do genre nights? Oh, I don't mind that. Get a whole bunch of, because then we know what we're looking for. 1 week. So we could say country night, and then we could ask everyone to send us all their best country.
I've got a good idea. How about we talk about this offline and actually get our stuff sorted? And then
let's talk about it now. I want to discuss it now. This is ridiculous. Do you want me to bring someone else in as like a therapist?
Yeah, why not?
Hey?
Yeah, go for it. I'm not doing anything.
Oh, imagine rock and rap originals.
Rock and rap.
Yeah.
Genre nights, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So she's told her, and I bet you when my mum typed that, she had to type that with one hand because the other hand was doing this. I think you should do genre night. Is that right, Mum? Let's be honest, I'm just waiting for yes. My dad's going to pop up, yes, she was doing that.
We can't go until we find that
I
out.
love it. No, that's what I want to find out now. Anyway, I think, yeah.
Awesome. All right, I think that's about it from us.
Yep.
Thanks, George. Thanks to Brad Marr from Massive joining us.
Yes,
that was,
thank you very much, the Brad.
That was really good.
One of the best things ever. I actually really, really enjoyed that.
She sent you the pointing finger.
Hold on.
No, she's waving her finger at you. You take her home.
I thought she was pointing at the ceiling. Either that or sticking a middle finger up. That's terrible.
Thanks to everyone that's joined us. Thanks, Brad Marr from Massive. Thanks, George.
Yep. And Wrecking Crew. Make sure you jump on to Brad's socials. So Wrecking Crew, Massive Australia, which all the links are well above the rest of the comments that were there. So guys, please make sure you find that. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on Futcha Book and a YouTube. Because at the moment for us, it is going to be an important thing. We actually want to hit 20,000 people by the end of within about 2 weeks. So we need about another 800 people to like the Musicland Melbourne page. So that's not a lot, but yeah. So we want that by the end of a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that'd be good. Maybe we should do some kind of special thing when we hit that 20,000.
You're going to play drums in your mankini? Oh,
maybe.
That's for the thing that we're doing.
What thing?
Oh, what do you call it? Come on.
All right, we're done.
The sponsorship.
See you guys.
Is that it? I don't want to go.